Ah, New York, the city that never sleeps. Its bustling streets adorned with bright yellow cabs. I love New York stickers, and a ceaseless sea of faces offer a captivating spectacle, but beneath this vibrant exterior lies a world of opulence. Picture it. Towering skyscrapers, a playground for financial giants, neighborhoods steeped in old money prestige, and landmarks that pay homage to history's elite. And let's not forget the iconic Frank Sinatra serenading these streets with New York, New York. Before this city's bustling vibrancy, it was a sanctuary for America's powerful families, and their legacy lives on in its exclusive addresses. In this video, we explore New York City's wealthiest neighborhoods. Stay till the end for a glimpse of the illustrious Billionaires' Row. So grab your favorite drink as we dive into the lap of luxury in a city you thought you knew so well. The Upper East Side in Manhattan is one of the most affluent parts of New York. It extends from East 60th Street to 95th and spans from East River to 5th Avenue. Known for its luxurious residential options, apartments built with neo-gothic architectural design and objectively posh lifestyle, this part of the city is known as a playground for the wealthy and famous. The city first became a magnet to the elites when, in the late 1800s, American steel titan Andrew Carnegie built a mansion on 91st Street, thus transforming the entire neighborhood. In no time, several other old money families built their dream mansions on this side of town, further adding to its desirability. Manhattan's Upper East Side was home to several prestigious families in the Gilded Age, including the Astors, Vanderbilts, Rockefellers, and Roosevelts. This area boasted architectural masterpieces like the Astor Mansion, owned by Mrs. Astor. This mansion was where she hosted the annual ball of the 400 Society of Manhattan in the 1800s. Other historic homes in this neighborhood were the Vanderbilt Triple Palace, the Petit Chateau built for William K. Vanderbilt and his wife Alva, and several others. Unfortunately, all of these houses have been demolished under the guise of civilization and development. However, the city still holds its charm, and thus the lush amenities and posh neighborhood of the Upper East Side still attract influential people in society. No wonder the kings and queens of society and pop culture choose to call this place home. These include the Kennedys and Rockefellers and several celebrities who do not necessarily belong to this sect. Up next is Forest Hills Gardens, an affluent community built within the borough of Queens. This neighborhood's suburban quality attracted several old money families. Families prefer the suburbs, which are free from the hassle of many developed cities. This iconic neighborhood is where the Super Bowl was held for several years and where the movie Fame was filmed, so you can imagine it is quite familiar among the affluent and influential members of society. Forest Hills is also known for having streets lined with trees, expansive parks, incredible architecture, and houses built in a peculiar style known as Forest Hills Bungalow. It was developed in the early 1900s in the manner of England's garden villages, and as such, this exotic neighborhood was home to the old money elites of Queens. However, with the change in times, most of these families relocated elsewhere. But despite that, Forest Hills remains the most upscale neighborhood in Queens. Only the wealthiest families in Queens can afford to live in such a private residential area and enjoy its fairy tale setting and the many other amenities it offers. Next on this list is Riverdale, the most exclusive residential area in the Bronx, which makes it sought after by the wealthiest members of society. This area was developed on a 100-acre parcel located by the Hudson River in the northwest section of the Bronx, and was owned by a well-off businessman, William Ackerman. He envisioned transforming this bare piece of land with a great view of the Hudson River into a fancy yet humble community that fellow wealthy folks would inhabit. And thus, the work began. This vast expanse of land was initially divided into 7 estates, and the construction continued for years. By the end of that decade, Riverdale's homely and medieval setting made it a great summer destination for several upscale families. This private community features hundreds of cottage-style residents, each accentuated with green trees and a serene environment that looks unreal. Being one of the most elevated points in the entire city, Riverdale offers panoramic views of the George Washington Bridge, the New Jersey Palisades, and of course, the beautiful Hudson River. Although affluent people inhabit the entire neighborhood, you would find the wealthiest families in the upscale subsections of Hudson Hill in the Riverdale estates. Another part of this neighborhood imprinted on by old money folks is Fieldstone. This part of town is filled with brick and Tudor-style mansions, which once served as vacation houses for New York's finest. Up next is Malba, a pristine suburban neighborhood located off the East River between College Point and the foot of the Whitestone Bridge. This upper-class community was founded in the early 1900s by the 5 founders of the Malba Land Company: Maycock, Alling, Lewis, Bishop, and Avis. The name Malba was derived from the first letters of their last names. However, this is far from what makes this community one of the most sought after in Queens. Despite being one of the wealthiest neighborhoods, it contains a wide range of accommodation options, ranging from normal-sized family houses to multi-million-dollar mansions, all presenting different architectural designs. The streets are well decorated with trees, which add to the ambience of the whole community, as well as the perfectly groomed lawns by the sidewalks. While Malba is a permanent residence to many, most old money folks with property in the area use them as vacation houses, a place to unwind and escape the craziness of the ever-bustling New York City. The following neighborhood on the list is Todt Hill, one of the many hills located in Staten Island. What sets Todt Hill apart from the others is that it is the highest point on the eastern seaboard, sitting at a sprawling 401 feet above sea level, and the luxurious houses and mansions built on the top of this hill. One can get splendid views of Staten Island, New York Harbor, and some parts of New Jersey. Besides the top-notch views, Todt Hill offers what many sophisticated families are after: privacy, serenity, and seclusion. This mind-blowing community comes with a long list of perks, including its country club, and unlike most of the other neighborhoods we've seen, Todt Hill is strictly residential. It is open to some of the public, but only a certain caliber of people is fit to live in this neighborhood. For example, Todt Hill has no public transportation, so residents can only transport themselves through private vehicles. Also, there are few sidewalk markets or business startups where the less affluent can earn minimum wage. Furthermore, many of the buildings in this neighborhood are Vanderbilt-sized and Tudor-style mansions, which have been passed down through generations. A good look at this neighborhood would tell you one thing, and one thing alone: only the wealthy are cut out for life in Todt Hill. Back to the heart of the Big Apple, we have Gramercy, a fancy neighborhood in Manhattan, and the small private park it surrounds. This historic community is tucked between East 14th and 23rd Streets, Park Avenue and First Avenue. Gramercy Park is the only private park in Manhattan and one of the 3 in New York City. And just like the others, it is closed to the public, as only the residents of Gramercy are allowed in it. That is because these elite residents pay an annual fee, which grants them the key to the park and access to all its amenities. This has been the norm since the park's inception in 1844, meaning it was most likely visited by top-tier old money families who lived on Fifth Avenue, not far from Gramercy. This neighborhood, which feels like a tightly knit community, features tree-lined streets bordered by brownstones or townhomes. Its 5-star hotels and restaurants make it a popular destination for fancy brunches and dinners. Of course, living in an environment with fancy perks such as these comes with a considerable price tag. Finally, let us discuss the affluence of the famous Central Park South in Manhattan. This luxurious neighborhood runs from the West Side Highway on the west side to York Avenue and Sutton Place on the east side of Manhattan. It is even more costly because its borders are flanked by two impressive entrances, Columbus Circle and the main monument on the west side, and Grand Army Plaza and the Pulitzer Fountain on the east. Not a lot of neighborhoods in the country make such a bold statement. Speaking of bold statements, Central Park South is also part of Billionaires Row, a group of super luxurious residential skyscrapers and surrounding areas. From the name alone, it is pretty evident that it contains some of the most expensive residences in the world. A good example is hedge fund manager Kenneth C. Griffin's residence at 220 Central Park South, worth a sprawling $238 million. This magnificent home is just one of many expensive homes in the area, many of which are owned by the old money families of New York. And there you have it, 7 of the wealthiest old money neighborhoods in New York. Which of these stuck out to you? And which ones did I miss in this video? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.